Take a deep breath with me. Just settle in for a second. You know the feeling. You look at your to-do list, you look at your life, and you just feel stuck. You probably think you're lazy, right? You think you just lack drive. Well, the truth we're going to uncover in today's explainer is vastly different. You are absolutely not unmotivated. You're actually just carrying a weight that you can't see. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology behind our modern digital behavior. So I want you to just clear away the distractions for a few minutes and really listen to this, because it challenges a fundamental belief so many of us carry around right now.
Think about how often you wake up tired. I mean, truly, literally exhausted right down to your bones. And the incredibly frustrating part is, you look back at your day and realize you didn't even do that much. You didn't run a marathon, you weren't doing heavy physical labor, yet the exhaustion is very, very real. And our immediate reaction? It's usually guilt. We blame ourselves. But what if that immediate feeling of guilt is entirely misplaced? What if you're simply deeply, deeply drained by something else entirely? Listen to me, you're not lazy. It is incredibly common to experience this profound depletion and just mistake it for a flaw in your character.
That profound physical and emotional exhaustion leads directly to a very quiet internal struggle. You sit down at your desk, or maybe you try to tackle a simple household chore, and you try to find your focus. But your brain, it just feels heavy. It's like you're wading through thick mud. Think about cognitive friction for a second. Every tiny step requires this massive effort. Suddenly, really simple tasks, sending an email, folding the laundry, making a quick phone call, they become monumental obstacles. And when you can't push through that heavy brain feeling, the immediate question that echoes in your mind is a painful one. What's wrong with me? You start to question your worth, you question your capability.
Well, I want you to internalize this right now. Absolutely nothing is fundamentally wrong with you. There's no broken part of your character. Your brain is simply overloaded. Think of a high-performance computer with 100 heavy, intensive applications running in the background. The hardware isn't broken, right? The machine itself is totally fine. It just maxed out its processing power. It is desperately trying to compute more data than it was built to handle at one single time. And right now, your mind is doing the exact same thing. It's operating at maximum capacity just to keep the lights on. From the exact moment we wake up, we subject our minds to an endless stream of digital input. The daily grind of our modern existence is just relentless. We're scrolling through endless feeds. We're watching a rapid-fire sequence of short videos. We're enduring the constant, unpredictable ping of notifications. And here's the psychological reality of that. Your brain treats every unexpected notification as a micro-threat response. It actually spikes your cortisol. It demands a tiny slice of your cognitive bandwidth to assess whether that ping is a danger or a reward. Every single scroll is a micro-decision. Every video is an intense emotional and visual stimulus. Because of this endless consumption, your brain is constantly running. It never truly rests. Even when you're just relaxing on the couch, if you're scrolling, your brain is working overtime.
So, this vanishing motivation, it isn't a character flaw. It's actually a documented scientific condition called mental fatigue. This is not physical tiredness. It's a deep psychological exhaustion caused by way too much input and nowhere near enough recovery. The human brain has a finite capacity for processing information each day. It is an absolutely extraordinary organ, but it has limits. When the input, all that endless scrolling, the alerts, the fragmented media, when that vastly exceeds the time you spend resting and recovering in silence, well, the system crashes. Your motivation hasn't vanished. It hasn't permanently left you. It's simply been buried under an absolute avalanche of unprocessed input.
Now, as your mental energy drains away, your brain literally goes into survival mode. It actively starts seeking the path of least resistance just to make it through the day. And what is the ultimate path of least resistance? Distraction. When you're mentally fatigued, your brain physically does not have the fuel required to focus deeply. It is starving for easy energy. So it craves quick dopamine hits. It gravitates right toward the very things that cause the overload in the first place, because consuming passive distraction requires far less immediate effort than engaging in active thought. It's just trying to soothe itself the only way it knows how.
When your brain is drained like this, its entire decision matrix fractures. It subconsciously, almost automatically, chooses what feels easy over what is actually important. Scrolling feels easier than thinking. Distraction feels infinitely better than effort. But you have to realize, this isn't laziness. It's a biological coping mechanism. You aren't choosing to procrastinate because you lack ambition. Your exhausted, overwhelmed brain is choosing the distraction because it literally lacks the energy reserves to mount the effort required for deep, meaningful thinking.
Which brings us to a hard but honestly incredibly liberating truth. You do not need to find more willpower. You don't need to watch another motivational video to pump yourself up or read another productivity hack. Trying to add more motivation to an exhausted brain is, well, it's like pouring more water into a cup that's already overflowing. It just makes a bigger mess. What you actually need is less overload. You simply need to stop the flood of information. You have to consciously shut off the valve.
It's time to take your mind back. And look, regaining control doesn't require massive sweeping changes that you're just going to abandon in a week anyway. It isn't about throwing your phone into the ocean and moving out to the woods. True control is about small, deliberate subtractions. It's about consciously deciding what is allowed into your mental space, rather than just leaving the front door of your mind wide open for every notification, every breaking news alert, and every algorithm to walk right in. You have the inherent power to protect your cognitive energy.
So, how do we actually begin? Well, the psychology points to 3 incredibly simple, minimal steps. Think of it as a gentle prescription for the modern mind. First, reduce screen time. Just slightly at first. Create tiny boundaries around your digital consumption. Second, take mental breaks. And I mean true mental breaks, not just switching from your work screen to your phone screen. Look out a window. Sit in silence. Give your brain the quiet space it desperately needs to process the day. And third, one task at a time. Multitasking is a modern myth that completely shatters our energy. By doing just one thing, you dramatically lower the cognitive load on your brain. The primary goal here is really simple, giving your mind the room to breathe.
I want to offer you a tool for radical self-compassion today. I want you to reframe your entire self-perception. The next time you feel stuck, the next time that heavy feeling creeps into your chest and you start to reach for your phone instead of doing the work, just stop. Don't judge yourself. Instead, in that quiet moment, ask yourself this exact question. Am I lazy or am I just mentally drained? 9 times out of 10, you'll realize it's the latter. Recognizing that you are deeply drained allows you to step away and heal, rather than punishing yourself for a perceived lack of discipline.
You have to give yourself permission to disconnect. Step away from the noise, the screens, and the relentless demands on your attention. Because only when you allow your psychological battery to recharge in the quiet can your mind truly wake up. Rest your mind. Let the silence do its work. Then, and only then, start again. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with this to think about. If you put the phone in another room tonight, who would you be tomorrow?